What's up, y'all? You remember this place? Maybe? Well, if you watch my Minnetonka video, right back there is Minnetonka, and right back here is Wayzata. And that's because today's video is a virtual tour of Wayzata, Minnesota. How's it going, y'all? My name is Jesse Lynch. I'm a real estate agent here in the Twin Cities of Minnesota, and this YouTube channel is devoted to two things. The first of which is teaching people about buying, selling, investing in real estate, and the second of which is showing off the amazing place that I live, the Twin Cities of Minnesota. If either of those things appeal to you, do us both a favor, subscribe to this channel, click the little bell to get notified, do give the video a thumbs up, and say what's up in the comments. I appreciate you being here. Today's video is a virtual tour of Wayzata, Minnesota. I'm very excited to show you around, and I'm also very excited to introduce you to my friend, Alex. And you're thinking, Alex, what about Nick? Yeah, both Alex and Nick. All right, let's get going. All right, right now I am on Lake Street, which is also just kind of the main street of Wayzata. To my right is Lake Minnetonka, and then on this side of me is all the shops and restaurants and just like cool independently owned businesses, as well as some bigger businesses as well. And Wayzata has some very strange boundaries, but more or less to the north is 394. To the east is basically the Wayzata Boulevard exit off 394. It's also right where around it turns into Highway 12. To the south is Lake Minnetonka. To the west is the Wood Hill Country Club. Wayzata really came to be in 1867 when James J. Hill brought the Greater Northern Railroad through Wayzata, and that really allowed Wayzata to, become more established. Wayzata is also like a very aspirational suburb, right? It's small, population around 4,000 people, but it's also pretty widely known as one of the most desirable neighborhoods in the entire Twin Cities. Because Wayzata isn't huge, it's not really home to a lot of big companies, but I would say that a lot of the residents who live in Wayzata work at some of the biggest employers in the Twin Cities. To name a few: Cargill, Target, Polaris, Carlson, General Mills, Best Buy, so on. As you can see, Wayzata has kind of an East Coast, sort of Maine, I don't know, maybe Connecticut kind of vibe, except of course it's a lake and not an ocean. But here's the thing, I didn't grow up here, but Alex did. And so I'm gonna let Alex tell you what it's actually like to live here.
All right. Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Alex. I am the newest member of the To the Twin Cities team, and today I'm going to be giving you a little inside perspective on my hometown, Wayzata, Minnesota. So I wanted to talk about a few of my biggest takeaways from living here in Wayzata. And obviously the first one is gonna have to be the schools. You've heard Jesse say it probably 100 times now, but Wayzata school districts are within probably the top 4 of school districts in the state of Minnesota, among Eden Prairie, Minnetonka, Edina, all great schools. Wayzata West Middle School is actually within a mile away, and I went to middle school there, and after school, you come down to downtown Wayzata with your friends, hang out by the beach, go to Caribou, just have a good time. So I have a lot of memories coming down here with friends. So I hope that one day my future kids can have a similar experience. I don't think there's a lot of areas with a downtown area like Wayzata's, and so having a middle school within close proximity of the downtown area is a really cool experience to have growing up. The city of Wayzata is a very small area, and so everything is within walking distance. I loved coming down here growing up because you can go out on the water with friends and come back and go to some restaurants, grab a coffee, kind of just hang out in the downtown area. Because it's such a small area and there's so much that you can do down here, it's a really tight-knit community when it comes to the people that live here. In the summer, there are sailboat races on Lake Minnetonka that you can actually watch from the rooftop over at the Sixsmith restaurant, and I actually happened to work there for 4 summers. In September, around Labor Day, the city of Wayzata puts on the James J. Hill Days. It's a 2-day event, and they have a parade and they put up a carnival over here on Lake Street. It's a one-of-a-kind opportunity that you can't really find in many other places, and I think it's a really great way to bring the community together. I have a lot of great memories growing up here and going to James J. Hill Days, hanging out here when the sun's going down, going on the Ferris wheel, stopping by a Ben & Jerry's with friends, getting ice cream, and just a whole lot more. By the way, Ben & Jerry's, amazing ice cream, and you gotta be here for their free cone day, but you'll probably have to wait in a line that goes around a couple blocks. Totally worth it, in my opinion. There's also a lot of walking and biking trails close to the city of Wayzata. The Loose Line Trail, the Dakota Trail is on kind of the western side, but I have a lot of memories growing up, going on those trails, biking with friends, and just being a kid. So my biggest takeaway of Wayzata is probably that since it's such a small town and it's right next to Lake Minnetonka, you really do get this small town lake life that you can't find in many other places without being, far out in the country. I wouldn't want to grow up anywhere else, and I'm glad I got to grow up in Wayzata. And it's really cold, and I want to find Jesse because I can't feel my fingers anymore. Oh, there he is. God, there was like 3 trucks that drove by and they weren't you.
All right, right now we are on like Walker and Park Street. It's basically, we just found a cross section of Wayzata that just seems to sum up what's going on in Wayzata really, really well. Which really, more than anything, I think is you're finding these old houses, okay, right? Little cute, little old house. And then they're being renovated into these like giant, these massive, they start out as 800 square foot little ramblers, little tract homes from the 60s or prior, and now they're turned into 4,000 square foot, beautiful, beautiful homes. But anyways, what are a few pros and cons of living in Wayzata? I know I say this in all these videos, but I've been doing a lot of like the best school district areas, so that's why. But number one, first pro for living in Wayzata is schools. Some of the best schools in the entire Twin Cities. Again, it always makes that top 4 list, like no matter where you look. But like I said, I didn't grow up here. Alex did.
Like I said earlier, I think a good pro is that Wayzata is very small, and so everything is within walking distance. Obviously, you have Lake Minnetonka right next to the downtown area, and so you can go out on a boat, go water skiing, go wakeboarding, all kinds of stuff, and come back into the town and hang out.
And I think as an outsider, I can very candidly say that the downtown area is like this adorable, historic downtown area. It's got that lake, you know, East Coast lake vibe that is pretty much impossible to find anywhere else in Minnesota.
I think more and more Wayzata is becoming a desirable place to live, and with that comes affluence. And so you're seeing these older, small homes just get completely knocked down and built into these massive, beautiful homes.
That's true. Literally like across the street from one another are like these two perfect examples. Yeah, and I noticed that with condos too, right? Like there's some older condos, but then there's also like these insane condos down by the water.
Yeah.
Another thing that I don't think I have like personal experience with, but I feel like you often hear about like some of the best restaurants in the cities are in Wayzata.
You've got Sixsmith, Cove, Gianni's. They're all great steakhouses, and they have some of the best food in the Twin Cities, I have to say.
They got any vegan food here?
I'm sure they do.
Okay, so then like all these other neighborhoods with amazing schools that are, you know, beautiful neighborhoods. The first con, I know I say it all the time, it's expensive, right? Without a doubt, Wayzata is considerably more expensive than most of the rest of the Twin Cities. And then naturally, of course, like with higher home prices is gonna come higher taxes. But again, I don't live here, so what actually kind of sucks about living here?
Well, I don't know if anything sucks about Wayzata up there, but it can get pretty crazy with tourists coming in the summer, and the downtown area, since it's really small, can get crazy for parking. Restaurants can fill it pretty quickly, and there are a lot of boats on the water.
We saw a train coming through earlier. Does that like, can you hear that in the town?
You can hear it, but once you live here for a few years, you don't even really notice it. And if you're visiting the area, it's actually pretty cool to see the train, so I wouldn't necessarily deem that as a con, but it can get pretty loud. It stops going at like 10 o'clock at night, I think, is when they shut the horn off.
Ooh.
So,
all right, so train kind of a pro because it's cool, train noise kind of a con, but not that big.
right. And I guess the last con I can think of is that I've heard of instances where people buy an older, smaller home and will try and knock it down and build up a new home, but will come into problems with zoning and things like that that can kind of get in the way of building a new home.
I mean, that makes sense. Like, imagine, you know, the zoning committee trying to figure out how to put like that house where, you know, a Rambler used to be. All right, but so all in all, pros and cons, for sure, without a doubt, I would say pros outweigh the cons, right? And so all, you know, potential negative things aside, there's a reason it's really expensive, and that's because it's an awesome, awesome place to live. All right, friends, right now I'm at Clapridge Park. You can see there's a hockey rink and a free skating rink. And I think this just speaks to sort of the small town feel. This feels like it's like right dead center of Wayzata. And I gotta say, there's just like this wholesome feeling that I get here. And I think that's what Wayzata is all about. A beautiful, small town on Lake Minnetonka, one of the biggest lakes in all of Minnesota, with great schools and a tight community. And so if any of that appeals to you, do us both a favor and reach out to me however you can. I'm working on starting the most genuine, hardworking team in all of Minnesota to the Twin Cities. Today, you met Alex. Last video, you met Nick. And I promise we are gonna do nothing but just crush it for you. So like I said, any way you can, call, text, leave me a message on my website, DM me on Instagram, DM me on Facebook, strap a letter to a raven and send it my way. Whatever you gotta do, get a hold of me. I really look forward to showing you around the Twin Cities in the flesh and sort of being your liaison to purchasing a house here in the Twin Cities. Thank you so much for watching. Again, subscribe to the channel, click the bell to get notified, give the video a thumbs up, and say what's up in the comments. Specifically, say what's up to Alex. All right, we did it. I have a showing that I have to get to right now, so I appreciate you watching. Bye-bye.